Alright, welcome back to some more Umineko When They Cry. So, where we last left off, both groups are, fending for themselves. There wasn't really anything special in this certain regard for the recap. Also, both Canon and Shannon were, you know, discussing of this whole Golden Land thing, while they're on the lookout for like in, any sort of people coming their way of the in the middle of a dungeon cell. So yeah, nothing. There's nothing more to elaborate, really. So let's continue. At that moment, Canon perked up. It was like the ears of a cat when it reacts to a strange sound. Yeah, he does. He has the ability to sense who's coming by.
どうしたの？
Oh, let me fix that. There we go. For some reason, like I usually have the call deafened, but at the disconnect. There we go.
し、旦那様、誰か来ます。
Someone coming.
何？
He's like, what? They ended their conversation and strained their ears. For a while, they couldn't hear anything, but eventually they were able to hear the shuffling sounds of a large group of people walking.
おいでなすったわね。
年貢の納め時か、さもなくも最初で最後のチャンスか。
Let's see how this goes.
私が金蔵さんと話しましょう。なんとかここの場所を聞き出してみます。
期待してるわ。
During the last phone call, Kyrie had asked what the time over at the guest house was. By doing that, Kyrie had learned that it was the same as her watch, and she had learned that their watches hadn't been set back. It wasn't just the clocks on the walls in the guest house. Several people's watches, including George's and Golda's, had matched. If that was the case, then it had only been a few minutes between the time of the massacre in the dining hall and the time they had been transported to the dungeon. Not enough time had passed for them to be knocked out and carried away. Then were those really pitfalls, meaning that this was the area directly under the dining hall. Wait, then were those really pitfalls, meaning that this was the area directly under the dining hall? All that they could do was pray that Nanja could find out where this was.
来ます。多分、人数は4人。
4 people. Well, this is going to be an interesting conversation, ain't it? Hoo, boy. I wonder who's going to get killed this time. Or executed, considering how batshit crazy they are.
親方様、並びに食堂に姿を現したうちの3人かと。
もう十分だ。君も後ろに下がりたまえ。あとは私たちで応対する。
シャノンちゃん、申し訳ないけど電話のところに座ってもらえる？スカートで電話を隠して。あ、はい。
Well, you could just, like, scooch yourself near the phone to make it look like and just hide it. I guess, sure. Well, close enough. The shuffling came close, and there was the sound of a large door being opened in the hallway. The light they were apparently carrying illuminated the hall, stroking the walls with sharp razor-like shadows. And then the light from the lantern they held illuminated the prisoners through the bars. The bars' sharp shadows divided them up lengthwise. There were 4 silhouettes. It was Kinzo, Ronolv, Virgilia, and Gap.
後ろ宮家当主ゴールドスミス教のおなりでございます。 皆様、ご静粛に。
No, hey, it's Remold.
ゴールドスミス？
親父殿のペンネームだ。怪しげな魔導書を書くとき、そういう名を署名しているようだ。
What a nickname. It's like he's Smith. It's like he's the maker of gold.
金蔵を英語風に？それならゴールドウェアハウスが正しいんじゃないの？
Gold Warehouse. Wow. Wow. Interesting jump scare behind the outside the cell.
ウェアハウスは倉庫、ただ溜め込むに過ぎぬ。しかし私は金を生み出し、細工し、さらに価値を高めるのだ。スミスの方がよりふさわしいと思わんかね。
Well, that just means you work as okay.
確かに。
True enough.
無駄口を失礼しました。
金蔵さん、これはどういうことなんだね。ここは一体どこなんだ。
おや、我が友よ。思い出せんかね。さすがにその牢の中に入った経験はないだろうが、この廊下を歩いた記憶はあるはずだ。
まさか。
心当たりがあるの？
いや、しかし、考えられない。第一、私たちは落とし穴に落ち、しかもほんの数分でここに閉じ込められたのですぞ。そんなことは物理的に、距離的にありえない。
人間にはね。
Oh, good old gap.
お父さん、ここは屋敷ですか？屋敷にこんな地下があったとは。
I thought the boiler room was already a basement, but I guess we haven't fully explored the entire mansion as yet.
フラウス、お前たちがその存在をささやき、何度か私の後をつけ回して探ろうともしたではないか。それがここだよ。いや、正確にはそこの地下と言うべきか。
まさかここはクワドリアンの地下ですか？
The Kuadorian house?
ご見察の通りです。こちらはクワドリアンの地下でございます。
Wow. I see. I guess the underground is pretty big to transport from under the mansion to the Kuadorian.
クワドリアン。まさか噂の親父殿の隠し屋敷なのか？本当に実在したのか？
我が最愛の魔女ベアトリーチェのためだけに築いた屋敷である。 地上部分は美しき上品な屋敷なのであるが、そこを案内できず、実に残念に思うぞ。
Well, that's a shame, because so far I've seen the exterior of it.
こんな牢屋があるお屋敷で二人きりなんて素敵ね。どうもお父様とは性癖が合わないみたいよ。キリエさん、無礼な発言はお控えになった方が賢明ですよ。でも同感よ。
She agrees.
私も送られた屋敷にこんな力があったら100年の恋も冷めて金目のものだけいただいてとんずらするわ。
Wait, what? So,
おや、そういうご趣味はございませんか。てっきりキュンキュンしちゃうとばかり。
I was about to say, is like, is Gap into a like a sex dungeon? Is this why? I mean, I wouldn't be surprised considering how Gap talks.
もちろんキュンキュンしちゃうわよ。
Why not? What a shocker.
誕生日のプレゼントに首輪なんかもらっちゃったりしたらね。ただしイケメンに限る。
Well, then it's settled.
お静かに。首輪より猿靴輪が必要ですか。
Whoa.
あら、あなたはそっちもいけちゃうの？リアって好き嫌いないのね。
Fergilia, but instead just calls her Leah.
勝手に人の名前を略さないでください。
やかましいぞ女たち。お前たちも同じ牢に閉じ込められたいというのか。
I don't know. That's a good question.
これは失礼いたしました、親方様。この牢体にこのような寒い牢獄では身が持ちませぬ。
Vergilia quickly apologized, but Gap and Ranulf merely laughed together. It was like they thought they alone couldn't be imprisoned, or else that even if someone tried to imprison them, it would be pointless.
牢とは捕らえ逃がさぬこと。
Obviously.
それはすなわち生涯手放さぬとの強い意志と愛である。逃げても諦められる程度の女ならば愛を語るに値しない。鎖で縛ってでも逃がしたくないと思うほどに苦しくなる女。そこまでに至ってこそ我が生涯を捧げるに値する愛である。お前にそれを別れとは言わぬよ。
私は誰にも縛れない、縛られない。愛されたいんじゃないの。愛したいの。
No one can bind her. She will not be bound. She does not want to be loved, but she wants to love.
私もゴールドスミスと同じよ。だからよくわかるわ。あなたの愛の狂気。
愛と狂気は紙一重というわけかね。実に旗迷惑な話だ。
しかしあっさり所在地が分かったのは大きいわ。 詳しい経緯は後で聞くけど、南條先生はここをご存知なのね。
はい。そこの廊下がクアドリアンの地下通路ならば、あの先をまっすぐ行けば長い地下道になり、それをずっと歩けば屋敷に戻れるはずだ。
この鉄格子さえ何とかできれば屋敷に帰れるってことね。
お父さん、私たちをどうするつもりですか？
But that's a bit of a straightforward question. Well, I wonder what he's gonna say.
すでに宣告した通り、お前たちは後の晩のための生贄である。
I thought we already, Kraus, I thought we already knew this by now.
都合よく人数も5人。えぐりて殺す5人の人質にぴったりであろう。
なるほど。私たちも年貢の納め時というわけですか。
やがてはな。だが今はそのために訪れたのではない。安心せよ。
Eventually.
それに言ったはずだ。もしも孫たちの誰かが我が全てを継承するにふさわしいと認められたなら、この儀式は中断する。つまりお前たちは命拾いをするというわけだ。
お子さんたちに何をするつもりですか？
次期当主にふさわしいかどうかテストを与える。その結果、私をうならせる者が一人でもいたならば儀式は中断する。
ふさわしい者がいなかったら子供たちはどうするつもりですか？
それを心配する必要はない。どうせ先に生贄とされるのはお前たちだ。その後のことなど知ったことではなかろうに。お前たちは自らの命運を自らの子供たちに委ねるのだ。お前たちが産み教え育ててきた結晶が子供たちだ。お前たちの命運を委ねるに実にふさわしい存在のはず。そう心配そうな顔をするなよ、クラウス。お前の自慢の100億の価値のある娘を信じろよ。
Bruh. I could never understood the sort of logic of your loved ones being worth a shit ton of money.
まったくね。
Wow, okay, again with that face.
子供は親の結晶よ。親の命運を預けるにふさわしいわ。お父様にとってもね。
肝の据わった女だ。ルドルフにはもったいない。
キリエさん、あまり挑発しない方がいい。
同感だ。今は耐えよう。
そうね。 どうせ私たちはまな板の上の恋よ。今さら何もできやしない。
I thought you already knew this, but that you five are part of a chopping board.
私に対し威勢のいい口を叩くことはできるがな。嫌いではないぞ、そういう女は。
Is that so?
ベアトリーチェも初めはそういう女だった。
Well, Beatrice is built different.
親方様、そろそろ本題へ。さっきから脱線しまくりです。
おお、そうであったな。すまぬすまぬ我が友よ。それでは本題に入ろう。そのために電話を用意しておいたのだ。
A phone?
シャノン、知恵が回るな。もう隠さなくてもよいぞ。それは私が用意させたのだ。
Wait, so you put the phone there as part of your... Okay. So it's not like the phone just it's inconveniently there for like some sort of like, you know, room service. Okay.
失礼いたしました。
Shannon quickly withdrew herself and the telephone was revealed.
クラウスよ。ゲストハウスの孫たちに電話をかけるがよい。そして我がテストを、試練の始まりを彼らに告げるのだ。
Ronolf motioned for Kraus to pick up the receiver.
嫌だと言ったら。
ほほう。取引の余地がどこにあるというのか。お前が電話をせぬというなら、孫たちにはチャンスさえも与えぬ。
Yeah, I guess we can't.
後ろ宮家はこれにて終わり。お前たちは直ちに生贄だ。
Well, that was an easy answer. Well, that's a pretty simple answer. Especially with that kind of face.
直ちに生贄なら幸運よ。あなたたちの眼前で子供たちを先に生贄にされた方が辛いと思うけれど。
が、生贄の順番は親方様が決めます。勝手なことを言わないように。
リア、今私の名前を縮めようとして詰まったでしょ。
Did she? Gop. I mean, pretty sure. See, it's Gop because there's two A's. I thought I would pronounce it by that, but I thought it'd be like Gap or something. I don't know.
してません。だから勝手に人の名前を略さないように。
女は実に。
かしましいですな。
And it just ends just like that. Well, the world 12 years later, October 1998. My mission. Oh. Where the fuck are we at? Oh, man. Why do we have to go through this nonsense? Man, as far as I know, when it comes to Anji visiting like other people and that I don't give a shit about, I hardly tune in. But man, alright, fuck it. I guess I'll try to you know, understand how this goes. The clinic that Nanjo had opened and later passed on to his son still existed on Niju. Oh, this is the clinic that Nanjo used to own. He he owns, but since he dies, passed on to his son. So this aged doctor was Nanjo's son, but the atmosphere about him was very different.
わざわざお越しくださり誠に申し訳ないのですが、特にお話しすることはありません。
Nanjo Masayuki. Alright, well, the side of Anji. Nanjo Masayuki, Nanjo's son, took over the Nanjo clinic. Unlike Nanjo, he gives a slightly dispassionate, indifferent impression. After the commotion surrounding Rokujima, he grew to completely despise the press, and never again did he attempt to speak of what had happened at the time. He used to have a daughter who was afflicted with an intractable disease, but unfortunately, she wasn't able to live out her natural lifespan. He used to have a daughter. Well, this old man's pretty. Looks like he's in a impressionable mood. Nothing to tell me. Nanjo's son said that very indifferently.
あの島の事故がワイドショーなどで非常に不謹慎に取り上げられて以来、後宮氏の主治医であり友人でもあった父にも大変心外な関心が多数寄せられました。そのいずれもが何の根拠もなく、また父のそれまでの業績を汚すものでした。私はそれら全てについて未だに強く憤慨しています。
無理もないことと思います。私も同じようなものですので。私など6つの時から延々です。
そうでしたね。これは失礼。
The doctor finally remembered that Anji was also a victim who had been exposed to the same curious eyes as he had been.
そんなあなたなら当時の件にもう関わりたくないという私どもの気持ちもお分かりでしょう。
Is Anji visiting Nanja's son like before they take on the boat to Rokujima? I think it is.
あれは不幸な事故でした。
An unfortunate accident.
それを事件だと騒ぎ立てたがるのは無責任なテレビと雑誌だけです。彼らの態度には心底うんざりさせられますよ。
I mean, the media has toxic narratives, so. Nanjo had been bathed with attention for being one of Ushiromiya Kinzo's few friends. Because of that, there was probably an aggressive and a persistent rush among the witch hunters and the press to use Nanjo's son as well, a surviving relative, as a source of information. The doctor went on and on, criticizing the press indignantly.
お気持ち、よくわかります。私生活に至るまで監視を受け、プライバシーも肖像権も、果ては人権さえも認められてたかわからない私ですから。そのやり場のないお怒り、よくお察しできます。だからこそ、私の人生をここまで台無しにしたあの事件は、一体何だったのか、どうしても知りたいのです。それでここへ来ました。私もあなたと同じ当事者です。雑誌記者でもインタビュアーでもありません。そこを誤解しないでください。私は道楽でこんなところまで来たんじゃない。私を見下すのもいい加減にしてください。 あの事件で狂わされた人生の傷跡比べをするならば、私とあなたでは比べ物にもならない。
Anji spoke sharply. The doctor, who hadn't imagined that he would be talked back to in such a forceful manner, couldn't help but fall silent. From Anji's perspective, the doctor really was whining over nothing. She really didn't want to be looked down upon. It was about time to let him understand how many days had passed for her before arriving on this island. Well, to be fair, if you really look through like the end of like the Witches Party episode 3 and then the current episode now, like I'm pretty sure you would not like sympathize with Anji like quite a lot. I mean, how she's like, raised since 6 years old. So for her before arriving on this island. The doctor realized that he'd said something wrong and then remained silent for a while, looking uncomfortable.
当時のことを思い出すのは苦痛でしょうが、ご存知のことがあったら何でも教えてください。もちろん口外はしません。私は私の人生に決着をつけるために今日ここへ訪れています。私は18です。あの事件は私の人生の12年を奪った。
12 years? That's like 2/3 of your life by now. Holy shit.
そしてこれからも奪い続けるでしょう。
Fucking hell.
私は6歳のあの日からずっと暗闇に放り込まれたままなんです。そんな私でも知る権利がないとおっしゃるんですか？
Yeah, Anji the teenage. Well, she's not really teen. Yeah, the Anji the teenager versus the old doctor. Interesting debate.
いや、失敬。たちの悪い連中ばかりが来ていたので、私もつい身構えてしまったようです。失敬したのをお詫びします。わかりました。他言無用を誓っていただけるなら何でもお話しします。
Everything. Is that so?
ありがとう先生。ではお願いします。何でも結構です。話してください。
Interesting, Brian.
知っての通り、父は後宮氏の主治医であると同時にチェスを通じた友人同士でもありました。その信仰は後宮氏が六軒島に移り住んできた当時からのとても長いものでした。
Isn't Masayuki isn't the VA for Masayuki the same as the the family doctor, which is the gay's father? Like I could have sworn it's this. I might have to look it up at some point once I'm done with this episode. Holy moly.
どのくらい仲が良かったのですか？
相当だったようです。チェスの縁で先方の屋敷に厄介になることも少なくなかったようです。私の口から言うのもなんだが、後宮氏は非常に気難しい方でした。
That's not surprising.
そして父はそんな人間と付き合うのに長けた非常におおらかな人だった。孤独な後宮氏にとって稀な友人であったことは想像に難しくないでしょう。
当日は親族会議でした。後宮家の親族会議は資産やその運用などについて厳しく問われる。さながら経営会議のようなものだったとされています。
It might as well be a financial conference. Because as far as I know, when it comes to episode 1 to 4, every time with the family cons is always like that.
そのような席にまで出席を求められるほどに南條先生は信頼を得ていたわけですね。
父は純朴な医師であり、後宮家のような富豪の財産運用について助言できるような立場にあったとは思えません。
Massively rich?
おそらく当時の後宮氏は健康状態が優れられなかったでしょうから、その買い添えとして呼ばれていたのでしょう。親友の父ならおそらく口も固く、親族会議上の秘密もきっと漏らさないと信頼されていたに違いない。
当時の後宮金蔵はかなり健康状態が悪かったのでしょうか。カルテが残っていたりはしますか。
事故の当日はカルテを持参していたのでしょう。後宮氏のカルテは残念ながらフォルダごと失われています。父のクラン家ですし、私も詳しいことは分かりません。
事件の前後、何か気になるようなことはありました？
あるにはあります。
There was one thing.
ですが、非常に誤解を招きそうなので、あまり言いたくはありません。
You know what? I want to discuss it. Well, like, fair enough, so this.
何ですか？
She's like, what is it?
それを教えてください。
She's like, you do realize I'm not going to tell this to anyone, right? For a while, the doctor beat around the bush, but after saying that much, he wouldn't be able to fool Anji by dodging the subject. He eventually gave in, and after making Anji swear herself to secrecy again, told her.
実はあの事故の数日後に私の自宅に郵便が届いたのです。
郵便？
それはとても奇妙な郵便でした。差出人が私になっているのですが、それは身に覚えのないものでした。何者かが私の名を語って出したということです。
Faked his name and sent it.
宛先は北海道の礼文島。
Rebune Island in Hokkaido.
北方領土の話を抜きにすれば、日本の最北端の島です。その宛先人がなんと礼文島の住所ではありますが、父の名前だったのです。
His father's.
しかし送付先住所が間違っているらしく、住所不明の付箋が貼られて、差出人である私のところへ戻ってきたわけです。
There's a problem with the destination address. It was stamped as address unknown and returned to the sender, which is yourself. Huh. It was truly a strange tale. Nanjo's son's name was written as the sender. However, he said that he hadn't mailed the letter. In short, that meant someone had faked his name and sent it. The destination was Nanjo Terumasa on Hokkaido's Rebune Island. But the lot number written on it didn't exist, so the local post office had been unable to deliver it and instead sent it back to the sender, Nanjo's son.
中身は何だったんですか？
本当に他言無用でお願いします。私も非常に迷惑しているんです。かといって捨てるわけにもいかず。
The doctor stood up and faced the bookshelf. There was packed a group of dictionaries that could only have been ornamental. meant to make it very clear that the owner was an intellectual. When he pulled several volumes out from there, a large brown envelope peeked out from behind them. He took that out and tossed it onto the desk. It had been carefully sealed with cellophane tape, and its faded color and dryness made it clear that it had been sealed 12 years ago.
くれぐれも他言無用でお願いします。
Being so persistent that it was annoying, the doctor removed the seal with a paper knife. Then, when he tilted the envelope, an already opened mail envelope spilled out. The envelope had a weight to it, hinting that there was something other than a letter inside. The, the recipient, pretty sure I pronounced that right, was certainly Nanjo Teramasa. Just seeing that was a huge shock. Following that incident, Nanjo's corpse had not been found, and he had eventually been treated as dead after going missing under extraordinary circumstances. And despite that, this letter addressed to a Nanjo in Hokkaido existed. One could almost take this as a sign that he had faked his own death and escaped to Hokkaido.
南條先生は本当に北海道に存在を？あるいは同姓同名の人物が北海道に？
父が何かの事情で事故を逃れ、北海道で存命していたのだとしたら、私たち家族にとっては事情にかかわらず嬉しいことです。私も初めはその可能性を考えました。しかし、この封筒の送付先住所は存在しないのです。つまりこの封筒は届くはずのない郵便なのです。
送付者が正しい住所を書き損じた可能性は？
もちろん否定はできません。ですが、住所の番地を見る限り、どうもそうは思えないのです。
北海道礼文島礼文郡礼文町 1-2-34-567。
Hokkaido, Ribune Island, Ribune County, Ribune City, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Up until Ribune City, it's fine, but I just couldn't wipe away the feeling that the sequential number after it, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, was a little insincere. It felt like a fake number that some kid had made up.
おそらく明らかに存在しない住所をデタラメに書いたのでしょう。この封筒は初めから存在せず届くはずのない住所に送付されたと考えるのが自然だと思います。
It had no chance of being delivered. If the destination address doesn't exist, mail is generally returned to the sender. But even in the case of an incomplete address, the local post office will often courteously and to the best of its ability research to find whether the sender's intended destination exists. When they still can't find it, the mail is sometimes returned after an investigation of several days. It seemed that the same thing had happened with this envelope, and the stamp was postmarked on October 3rd. It was postmarked on Nijima. Nijima was a long way away from Ribune Island. On top of that, the destination was also nonsensical. It had taken more than a week for the mail to be returned. In other words, there was probably a high chance that having the envelope returned to the sender after an unfixed amount of time had been the goal from the very beginning. Why do something like that? Even before asking what it was that had been sent, this envelope was already wrapped in a mystery.
中身は？
Well, let's see the contents.
どうぞ。
Oh, well, that was easy. After getting the doctor's permission, I tilted the already opened envelope. From the inside came a small folded letter and a small key with a number plate attached. Then, a magnetic card slid out. A112 was engraved on the key's number plate. I didn't know what it meant. Oops. The magnetic card was pitch black and had gold characters engraved in it. Members was written in English. The jet black gold lettered card design made it feel like something very high class. But of course, I didn't have a clue what kind of card it was just from that. I unfolded the letter. Its contents were extremely brief and only the following was written. 05 07151129. Gee, I wonder where I've gotten the hint from. That looks like the numbers I've seen. Was it from episode 1 or episode 2? I know they had like a little bit of... So the 8-digit number, here's the thing though. It's either like you can it's either a phone number or the date of birth. Actually, no, it can't be it can't be the date of birth. That's is it? I could have sworn to be like that, but also written was the name of a certain massive bank known throughout Japan, as well as the words Central Branch. That was all.
これは
貸金庫のカードと鍵、そして暗証番号でした。
It's a card, a key, and a pin for a safe deposit box.
それも普通の貸金庫ではない。特別な顧客のみに許されているらしい不気味な貸金庫でした。
It's a PIN number? Wait, so the 8-digit number was a PIN number? I'm curious. Wait, so if there was, if this is the PIN, if there was a PIN for a safe deposit box, then maybe there's going to be like an actual answer of who's behind the incident inside the safe deposit box. After he finished putting his affairs in order following his father's funeral, he had visited the bank. Pen and key and card. There was no doubt that something of great importance was kept there, and he had been naturally curious about what it might be. At first, he hadn't known what to do. The card wasn't something he'd owned in the first place. When he mustered up his courage and showed the card to a bank clerk, he was then switched to a clerk of clearly high status and was guided to a large vault on the 4th basement. The security on the way there was strict. The doctor had himself stored valuable items such as the real estate transcripts and safe deposit boxes before, but this was something on a whole different level.
私の使っている貸金庫の手続きと違い、カードと暗証番号、そして鍵を持っているならば、本人確認は行われないというシステムでした。ですが、とにかく厳重な金庫室で、その物々しさに怯えました。こんなところに預けざるを得ない、どんな物騒なものが待ち受けているのかと。
それで
カードをリーダーに通すと、暗証番号の入力を求められました。そしてそこにある8桁の数字を入力すると認証され、金庫室への入室が認められました。
See, I thought the 8-digit number was a phone number, but no, it's a PIN, apparently. Access to the vault?
すごい光景でしたよ。まるで SF 映画のような世界だった。薄暗い銀色の広大な部屋に、びっしりと金庫の扉が埋め尽くされているのです。
What, was there like an endless amount of money there? Is that why? He had entered that room along with the clerk. It seems that as soon as the card was read, the vault he had a right to were determined, so that safes he could open were lit with a green light, while those he couldn't open were lit with a red one.
A11 はそれらの金庫のうちの一つを示すものでした。ちなみにそれ以外の金庫にもずらりと緑ランプが点灯していました。20個以上はあったと思います。
20.
あるいは他の一角にももっとあったのかも。いずれにせよ私の鍵は A11 にのみ。他の金庫の中身を確かめる術はありませんでしたが。
As the clerk watched, the doctor had unlocked and opened the safe. Ooh, let's see what's happening from here. When he did, a safe drawer like a large cabinet had opened, and an expensive-looking duralumin case peeked out. That was carried into a separate room, where for the first time the clerk left, and he was introduced to the contents.
中身は
He's so hesitant to say it.
現金でした。
Cash. Holy moly.
現金どれほど
How much were we talking?
新札の100万円の束はちょうど厚みが1センチになると聞いたことがあります。それがこれだけのジュラルミンケースの中にびっしり詰められていたのですから。多分1億はあったでしょう。数えたわけではないから分かりません。手すら触れませんでしたから。私はすぐに直感しました。これは危険な金だと。
It sure is dangerous. It wasn't normal to store a whole 100 million yen in cash in a case in a safe like that. It's much easier to deal with if you put it into an account and turn it into numbers. When someone is unable to do that, then it's clear that there's something wrong with that cash.
私は頭が真っ白になり、すぐに関わり合ってはならないと直感しました。
Surely depositing the money within a digital method is better, right? Although then again, like, within internet you can get hacked, I guess, but I don't know what it's like when it comes to late 90s, so mustn't get involved.
それで一切手をつけなかった。
はい。そのまま施錠し直し、元の金庫に預けて立ち去りました。この鍵やカードも捨てようと思いましたが、何が起こるかわからない。そのため誰にも内緒で12年もの間本棚の裏に隠し続けてきたのです。
Is this what it's like is this the hidden Ushiromiya wealth? I'm curious.
あれが何の金だったのか私にも未だに分かりません。
この封筒をお借りすることはできますか？
いえ。
No?
この場で見るだけにしてください。
No words.
わかりました。ではちょっと失礼します。
And if you excuse me,
調べ物を。
well then. I took One-chan's grimoire from the knapsack I had set down. Then I opened to the page with the paragraph Beatrice had written to One-chan and compared the handwriting on both. There was no mistake about the characteristic handwriting. The one who had sent this 100 million in cash was Beatrice herself. But what is it? Something's bugging me. What is it? What could it be?
ええ。
Oh god, who the hell?
そんな郵便物が確か届いた気がしますわ。母ちゃん、あれはどこにしまったっけな。
The same envelope and contents had been sent to Kumasawa's son, who had once lived with her. Oh my god, more of these. Kumasawa Sabakichi, Kumasawa's son, works at the Nijima fishing harbor. He must have gotten his carefree, big-hearted personality from Kumasawa. Kumasawa had many sons, and a number of them were away from land as fishermen. It was purely coincidence that it was possible to come into contact with him, as he happened to be involved with the fishing harbor. Hopes are on him that he might have heard chatty Kumasawa let something important slip, but there's no sure. Same envelope and concept is sent to Kumasawa's son, who had once lived with her, but he had been very busy in the days since and seemed to have forgotten about it while running around all over the place. However, its strange contents had apparently stayed in his memory, and he remembered as soon as Anji mentioned it to him. After a bit of a wait, his thin-lipped wife found the envelope, complaining that he always forgot where he put things right away. Well. I'm just gonna end this here for now. Well, next part, let's continue on to find more information of this. Like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you guys later. Have a good one.